Center.
That's fine. Oh, is it live?
Yes. So, hello everyone. So this is the first time we are live on this Facebook platform, and so today's session is going to be very special because we have a special guest with us, Mr. Amit Khanna, who is a storyteller, and he's actually running his sessions on stories that impact. Also, today we have a special occasion of Dashera. So, on this special occasion and with our special guest, we are going to start our live session. So, we'll wait for a couple of minutes and then we are going live together. So, those who are online right now can confirm us if they are able to properly hear us. You can write down in the comment box if you can hear us, and we are going to start this session. So I will give you the glimpse idea about this session is that this session is about stories, storytelling. So what Amit Khanna is doing, so he's a storyteller and he's a master in storytelling art. So I call it this act as a art because the storytelling, you might be knowing that in your child days you were hearing these stories from your parents, from your grandparents, parents, as well as a parent you are actually teaching these stories to your kids. So stories plays a very important role in our life, and with these stories we can actually express our thoughts and our nature. So everyone has a story to tell. Either it is a success story or the failure story, but everyone has their unique story to tell. So with this, I will welcome Mr. Amit Khanna to this Tech Life Cafe's Rise Above It series. And today, Rise Above It is meeting stories that impact. Over to you, Amit. Yeah.
Great, great, fantastic. Thank you for having me on your show, Abhijit.
Yes.
And it's a pleasure. Thank you for the lovely introduction. I couldn't have introduced myself better. So thank you for
Yeah.
that. And yes, happy Dashera to you and to all the viewers who are joining or would be listening to the recorded version later. So
Yes. Happy Dashera to all. Happy Dashera to Amit.
thank
Yes,
you,
go ahead,
thank you.
Amit. Yeah.
So yeah, storytelling. You rightly said. Storytelling it's been there since thousands of years actually. We are accustomed to listening to stories before going to bed. We are listening to accustomed to stories. These days it has replaced with the mobile and the other technology, which is like okay, but it's still story. Because anything that we do in a way, why exactly storytelling and why my show, let me give you a glimpse, why I got into it. My life has been quite a up and down, topsy turvy thing, all the time. So I realized that there are many situations in my life wherein I have gone through different struggles, right? And as a person I have been, even though there has been many struggles, and you every person has their struggles and challenges in their life, right? So I learned that over a period of time I have also overcome them. I have also learned how to live with some of them, learned how to overcome them and be a better person every single day. So, and I learned that when I share these stories with my folks, with my friends, and in my office, there's a certain level of motivation that kicks into them, right? So, for example, when I talk about my story, where my father passed away at my very young age when I was 14 and a half, and I had to actually do a job in the evening. So morning it was my college, and evening from 7 to 1 a.m. I used to actually work in a restaurant, in a local restaurant. It was a A grade restaurant, and I was a cashier there. And that went on for almost 3 4 years overall, because I had the college in the morning. But what I learned during that time is that there is a certain amount of struggle, like when my friends used to meet in the evening, uh, but I was not there. When people used to celebrate Diwali, the Shera, like this day, I'm working somewhere, right? So at a very early
Yes.
age, I learned that struggles are there, and there are ways to overcome. And I also learned that when I share this in a certain manner, a story has always a structure, which there are many structures, but the simplest one is called as the 3S structure. So there's a situation or a struggle, and then how you come out of it, and then there's the success. So when we articulate the story in a certain manner, it creates an impact on people, and that's where I thought, oh my god, I can do that. And I started learning, I started reading. Of course, my mentor, Amol Karale, I'll mention here, he also guided me through. And we went on, and I thought, let me launch this show. And the idea of the show is very simple. Every person has some or the other struggle in their life, and
Yes.
every other individual in some part of the world might relate to it, right? So when you share your story, and you share how you came out of the struggle, what was that situation, what you did, by just sharing that, it can impact somebody else, you know and so I am just giving a platform to people, and to my happiness and surprise, I do get people who share. That's a very nice thing. And I've also heard from people that how it impacts others. So that's the
Yes.
whole gist of this show, basically, and why
Okay.
storytelling.
Yes, right. So as you mentioned that stories that impact, and as you have a very struggling childhood and the teenage life, and after that so how was this journey to actually transition from your career to this storytelling? I mean, when was the first time you actually kicked in that okay, this can be my forte, or you might have to do the career in this? So are there any special kind of course for this storytelling? And what was your initial shift towards the storytelling when it happened?
Sure. Good point. So, storytelling, like I said, it was always inbuilt. Whenever I used to tell stories to, so by my background, I'm basically into IT, and I'm a project manager for last 7 years, and I've total of 17 years into IT. And last a decade or so, I realized within last decade that how my stories impact. And I always say this to people that, hey, if you have a problem, think about Amit Khanna in that situation. And then people used to come and say that, अरे यार तेरे पास तो बहुत stories है, तेरे को तो book लिखना चाहिए अपने ऊपर. And I used to laugh it out. And but I recently met my mentor Amol Karale, and he, while talking to him, we were, and I also do a bit of mind mapping, I'm also a trainer in IT, and I do other things as well. But he gave me a thing that, Amit, you have stories and you have the technology, merge them. And I'm like, wow, that does make sense. So now what I do is I tell storytelling, I train people. I also got certified from Macquarie University, that is Sydney, Australia. Just for the people's sake, I'm also a part resident of Australia. That's why. So I got myself certified on that. And and then I started talking about how we can develop it, you know so I actually have a, just to let your viewers know, Abhijit, that I have a 3-hour workshop on November 1st on
Yes.
storytelling. And this that
Okay.
workshop is a 3 hours, because you will learn storytelling, how to do storytelling. Now people have come to me saying that, oh, ye sab nahi chalega, and storytelling is for children and things like that. Let me put it this way: when we watch the movie Dangal, when we
Yes.
watch the movie Three Idiots or Tare Zameen Pe or many other, right, for that matter, uh, it pinches us, right, in a way. It Tare Zameen Pe was the movie where it taught people that there could be problem with the children in a different way, and you have to manage it in a different way, right? But it was
Yes.
not just said that your children might have some special needs, right? They could have just launched it. They put it in a story of a little boy who used to struggle during his school days, right? How he used to keep wondering when teacher is talking about something. So that's the struggle part, right? Then they showed what happens due to the struggle part. And then they got Amir Khan into the picture, and they showed what is the solution now. So it was a good 3 hour story, right? And we
Yes.
get all fascinated, right? That is the power of story. When you tell the story in a right way, you can move, I would say, mountains. But forget that, you can actually negotiate well, you can promote well, you can market well, you can sell well, and you can be that person whom people come and sit in the cafeteria. Arey, I like to be that with that guy यार, उसके साथ बहुत मजा आता है सुनने. Why? Because that guy is a storyteller.
Yes, right. So it's a new thing for many of us to know that even the storytelling can be delivered through the course. So there is actually a course exist in this world for getting the knowledge of storytelling. And yes, you do rightly mention about like the movies. Movies actually fascinate us, and they impact us because of their story, and the way they are portrayed is an art of storytelling by the director and all the artists in that movie. So it's a new thing to actually know about storytelling as a course, and what is the impact of this course. So as we move on, so regarding your webinar, regarding your 3 hour session on 1st of November, so at what time it is, and what benefit the people will going to get from this? So like starting and the end, what is it contains in that whole session?
Sure. No, that's a good point as well. So my webinar is on. I call it as a workshop. It's on 1st of November at 11 a.m. India time, and it
Yes.
is for 3 hours. And the structure, what I've done is I've made a structure in a way that we all have a certain belief system. Let me share something personal here. When I was
Yes.
a child, when I remember I was in fifth standard onwards, that's what I remember very, very clearly. From fifth standard to 10th standard, my neighbor was always better in studies, always better. And again, because he used to study, and I never liked studying in that sense. But what people started telling me is that you're a dumb fellow, you do not know anything, तुझे कुछ आता नहीं है, तू कुछ करेगा नहीं, आगे जाके तू बाजी बेचेगा and types. So but what happened is that got my it triggered me in a way that it became my belief system. I started believing that I'm a dumb person, you know and even though I thought that I'm trying a lot to study, but studies never enter in my brains. And I was like an average student. I used to pass my school days, but I was never like even in the 80s. I was like in the 50s and 60s percentage most of the time. So that belief system was there for a very long time. That belief system, in short, because I didn't had any specific value underlying me. See, what happens is your values create your belief systems. That becomes your attitude, and that's how you portray to the world. Okay, so if you see somebody shouting all the time, then you can understand what his core values might be. Okay, so
Yes.
values is very important. That drives the whole value tree and the belief system. My beliefs were very poor, and because of my values weren't very clear in that sense. So my belief system was poor, and because of which I was very very like poor in a sense that, oh my god, मैं कुछ कर ही नहीं सकता, in that sense. Because of that,
Yes.
even at this age, I'm almost 40 now, I still have the hunger to prove people wrong. The same old people who used to tell me, many of them are dead now, that I can do better. And I studied like mad. I just did my, not even just the graduation, I did post graduation, I did my masters, I've did 9 certifications in IT only, and I'm still studying. Why? Because of that belief system, because of that thing in my head that, oh my god, people used to tease me, right? So that is what I'm going to start off with in storytelling course as well, because you need to have a strong belief system. So it's will the way I've structured my storytelling course, I mean, sorry, the session, the 3-hour session, is that I'm going to give them a bit of what exactly the values are. I'm not going to deep dive in it, but give them an idea, because your stories have to stem from your values as well, right? If you don't believe in a story, right, how will you say it?
Yes.
How are you going to make sure that the other person is going to buy in from you, right? Whatever it could be, correct? So
Yes.
values
Right.
are very important, right? And that gets you to the next step, which is the mindset. So I'm going to
Yes.
talk a bit about the mindset, because your mindset has to be in terms of what are you doing. Storytelling, Abhijit, leads to persuasion,
Yes.
and there are hormones in our body. Okay, we call it as a happy hormones, and then there's a toxic hormones. Happy hormones like dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins, they are happy ones, right?
Yes.
You can use the stories to ignite the right hormone in your person whom you're talking to. Assume for this, okay, you are going in a wedding, and you know that, oh, I want to be a bit center of attraction and I want to do some nice stories. If you're going to say a story which is igniting their endorphins, which are, let's say, probably the happy hormones, what do you think? There will be another 10 people standing right next to you, right? When
Yes.
you
Right.
go in office meeting and you see by the faces that, oh my god, yeah, this guy is looking frustrated, this guy is looking this guy is looking this, you pick up your story and pick up a story from your story bank and talk about it, and there are 3 hormones in that same story, and boy, you got ding ding ding, all of them now are ready to listen to you. And whatever you say in your presentation, technical presentation, you want to come up with a new idea, there you go, your idea will be approved. So that's the third thing that I'm going to share, how hormones are there and what are the stories related to it. The fourth thing that I will share is how to create a story bank. So what do I mean? We have stories, right? How will you know that, okay, Abhijit has called me for a video session, and I want to talk about some story, right? How will I come up just about a story, right? You need to have a story bank, you need to have a story list of stories placed somewhere, and those list of stories should also link to, okay, this story is going to create happiness in someone, this story will scare someone, this story will be motivating someone, in that sense. So I will tell people how and methods of creating a story bank, right? Then, and
Yes.
tools which you can use. The fifth, I think the fifth part, I guess, or the sixth one, that is about structuring the story, right? There are many methods
Yes.
that I've learned. I've read like many books by now, really. I also connected with the authors of the books. I connected with authors from Australia, from New Zealand, from India, and from US, and I actually talked to them on LinkedIn. And so that's the structure. So I'm going to share a couple of structures, simple, really, really simple, that one can implement, and one would be a little more complicated than the simple, of course, right? So you can try it out. And the last portion is how you're going to deliver it, right? So now you understand the hormones, you have the story structure, you have made it into your bank saying that this story goes to the dopamine, this story goes to this place, this is this. Now the question is how you deliver it, right? So
Yes.
that is also very important. because delivery will see to it that whether your people are motivated or whether they're bored. You need to also have a time limit, correct? I learned that in a very different manner a couple of weeks back when I was told to share my story, and I realized that I went on for almost 15 minutes. So that's not a right way to do, right? Because
Yes.
that day it was a emotional day for me and the group, so I just went on. But that's the delivery part. So that's the whole thing that I'm going to share. And I can tell you one thing for sure, the way I'm putting it is that if anybody goes through these steps, they will definitely be able to at least start doing their storytelling journey.
Yes, right. So this actually gives me a one thought that the art of the storytelling or the stories that we actually share with others, so they can have a larger impact, and specifically you can actually uplift a particular person who is mentally weak, or he is not stable, or he is in the down stage of his life. So you can tell the such a story, as you mentioned, like you can trigger the dopamine or others hormones. So with that way it can act as an healing process for that person. So the way you narrate the story, the kind of story you tell, so that person who is emotionally weak, and he is actually introvert, so he can actually get benefit of from your story. And the kind of the art of storytelling will make that person more cheerful, and also more positive from the negative side. Is that the thing, right?
Absolutely. I like the word healing that you used. And
Yes.
honestly, I didn't thought in that sense, and I really thank you for that, because you're absolutely right in a way. Because see, what happens is when you listen, see, we all have this habit. I would suggest everybody to listen to Steve Jobs' se- uh, stories. I'm sorry, Steve Jobs session on in Stanford University that he gave, and he said three stories in it. When you listen to that three stories of Steve's Jobs, you will, I mean, at some point I'm like, oh my god, this is really bad. Okay, what happened? And as you said, it's a healing thing. I never thought in that way, and I'll again thank you for that word, because it does heal. Because the story, when said in a right way, I always say this to people, story when articulated in a right way will, now I'll use your word, heal you. If it is said in a bad way, it is the most boring thing that one can listen to. It's like a crying baby. Okay, so you need to
Yes.
also, we need to learn that, how stories can impact. And that's precisely my show as well. So that is about the social cause that I'm trying to do. But I thought that, why not use that power and try to see if I can uplift some people and make them better storytellers.
Yes, right, Amit. So I have one question. Is the question is that now you know that you can actually tell the story, and there is a right way to tell the story. But so we know that we learn from the books. So we have many books to read, like a self-help book. There might be fictional novels. So there are two different ways you can actually read those books. So either you can physically read that copy, or else you can listen with the audible or the audio format. So which way according to you which way according to you is the best way to actually learn the stories? So like if you have written the story and that person is actually reading that story in a textual format, or listening directly from you, which one have a more impact?
Hmm. Good. Good. Another good question, actually. See, I'm a project manager. Okay, and the biggest challenge that I always face is that when my team members, let's say a testing guy or a developer, comes and says that requirements are saying this, but customer, when I showed it to the customer after testing, he says that is not correct. So that is exactly what the point is. Requirements are written in English, right? Or whatever, it's in paper. right? And I always say this to people, that interpretation of any sentence is based on what you assume, correct? Like I take trainings, and in my training I always start with this example saying that I love you. And I always say this, when I say this, there will be one girl who might come and slap me. There might be another girl who might come and hug me. And there might be another person who might feel very nice and cozy. So I love you is common to everyone, but everyone interpreted it in different ways. So similarly, to answer your question, yes, reading is nice, provided that you have the imagination to get on to the story level, to that reader level, to go into his shoes. If you get an option of audio, I would personally suggest listen to the audiobook, open the book in front of you, and then do it, because that will make sure that the audio will take you, because the sound has got intonations high like that, right? So when you speak like that, they will know which word I'm focusing more and which word I'm not. When reading, it is your mind, your brain is reading, it is your own voice. So I would say that it is always beneficial to first listen to the person. If possible, go to what do you call YouTube, and listen to that book's audio if possible, or at least listen to the speaker, author, and then come back. I hope I tried to answer that.
Yes, yes, definitely. So it's both best of the both world. So read the book and actually listen and understand the like the accent of that author. And one thing, one last question which I wanted to ask you is like how important it is to deliver the story with an empathetic way, or the more conviction is necessary to actually tell the story. So is it necessary, or it should be like so as a human can tell the story same way we have bots now, so we have a text to speech, I mean the technology with which even a machine can actually tell you the story. So how different it is that a human is sharing the telling the story, and how a robot or the bot is telling the story. Hello, Amit, I think you're okay. So I think there is some issue with Amit's side. I think he got disconnected. So anyway, we'll just wait for one. I think he's there.
Hi,
Okay, great.
hi.
Amit, yeah, sorry. I think you got disconnected, and
Yes, sorry about that.
yes, okay, no problem. So you got my question, or do I need to
No, no,
repeat?
no. Please, say it again. I'm so sorry.
Okay, fine. So I was mentioning that how important it is to actually empathetically tell the story or with the conviction. So like the human person is telling the story to other person, or the bot or the computer, he's actually you can listen to the voice of computer and the bot, and that bot is telling you story. How is different that Alexa is telling a story and a human person is telling you the story? You got my point.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And I must say, you got quite a fantastic questions today for me. So,
Yes, right.
Alex, guys, my internet was bad, so I have to reconnect using my phone. So just letting everyone know, okay? So Alexa is an automated message, right? It's like a bot, like you said, talking about the story. Now, I personally, I will not prefer that, and I'll keep that as a last option. And I will, of course, go to a human talking about stories, and that's one of the reason I like listening on Audible. Now, please note that I'm not promoting it. I don't get any money from it, but
Yes.
I like listening to Audible books because they have better, speakers who tell the who do the audiobooks. So rather than, if you can also do this, you can go to your PDF and just say start talking.
and they will just read line by line by line. There is no comma, there is no antonations, there is no high pitch and low pitch, nothing. So no, it is always humans.
Yes, right. So it's better to actually listen to the story from the human, just to be more connected with that, all the emotions that a human can deliver. I mean, irrespective of how much technology is there with which the bot can actually deliver those stories. So it's really a nice session to talk with you, Amit. And I would like to remind everyone that if you are interested in storytelling, and if you wanted to learn more about the storytelling, then Amit is going to have one workshop on 1st of November at 11 a.m. India time. So please do join Amit, and also get connected with Amit on Facebook or Instagram or on the all the social media platform. And also do let us know your feedback about this session, and any suggestion if you have. So Amit, I would like to thank you for being on this show, and it was really a pleasure to have you on this Tech Life Cafe show. Thank you,
Thank you
Amit.
very much, Abhijit, for inviting me on the show. And I will be, I've just added a form actually which captures three things, because we have, I want to make sure that I invite all those people who are interested to join the show. And since we do not have the Zoom link ready now, it will be ready an hour before or maybe a day before. I will add that form here. It is just three things that I am capturing: your name and email ID, and yes, no. So share that
Yes.
with me so that we are connected. And thank you once again, Abhijit. And I'm extremely sorry for my technical problems that happened.
No, it's okay. It happens. I know. The good thing is that you can connect back, and we can continue this session.
Yeah.
So everyone, so we are as soon as I will receive the link from the Amit, I'm going to upload this video, this recorded session on all the social media platform, and I will put this link in the description or the comment box. So do check out and fill the form and let Amit know that you are interested, and do join the workshop on 1st of November at 11 a.m. in India time. Okay, with this, I would like to thank Amit, and thank you everyone who joined this session, and those who are actually who will be watching this session on a recorded mode. Okay, thank you and see you,
Thank you.
and happy Dashera. Bye bye.
Bye bye.